You silly dog. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm still tired as fuck. But, hey, we'll get our coffee in a minute. Hey. I think it's a Spooder Bro. Yeah. Eating some of these ants, dude? Oh, I hope so. Oh, yep. Kinda are. Oh, goodness. Come on, dog. Them jets are up again, really? Jeez, dog. Oh, look at you. You look so shiny with your new fresh shower that you got yesterday. Oh my goodness. You just look so shiny. Ugh. He's now become a soft, shiny boy. Ugh. What else now? Oh, buddy. I need to get you some food tonight. You got a kibble. You ate the last little bit of kibble yesterday, bro. So I need to get you more. Oh, what a silly little thing. Fucking hell. Here we go. Boop. Jesus. What the fuck? What the hell? Thought that was on. Whoops. Okay, hopefully that's better. Alright. There we go. There we go. Hey! Really? Dude! Hey! don't have to be like that all the time, bro. God. What a crazy boy. Just a ridiculous little nutter. There we go. Coffee has slowly but surely awakened me up, which feels good. Need some gushy theming. Let's go on YouTube, see what's happening for the internet today. What interrupts today and all that shit. Ooh. Oh, those neck crops felt kind of good. Or neck cracks, not neck crops. Oh, gonna load some in here if I'm gonna do a wake and bake. Oh. Oh, I am just like in a weird little vibe, honestly. Like, on one hand, my body still kind of feels like it's in recovery mode, but on the other hand, it feels fine now again. But I just, like, I'm in this weird stage of just, like, it's like, we as your body could just totally fuck you up again really quick. And it's just giving me that reminder feel. It's like, yeah, where I have to, like, walk on eggshells, it feels like, here. Or at least mentally, I think. Because, I obviously don't want to accidentally get myself sick. Because that would suck. Especially, since I kind of want to grab a paycheck. And, at least go to work just so I can at least grab that. Did not do anything. Because I sure shit am not feeling like wanting to put a lot of effort today. Alright, whatever. I'll make it work. I just swear to God, I feel like I get asked about why in the hell I didn't show up yesterday or something like that. I'm just gonna really not be happy. I'm just gonna straight be like, I called about that shit. There's no reason I should be gone at about that. So, it's like, I definitely don't want to hear from on that shit. I mean, I won't be mean about it, but I definitely will just be like, I called, like, I made sure to communicate this out, like, it ain't necessarily my fault that, for some reason, someone up here didn't communicate that to everyone else. That part ain't my fault. Because at least I did my part on that. That's kind of what gets a little annoying about work sometimes. Sometimes you do your shit, or like, you know, do things that you're supposed to do, like whether calling in or whatever the fuck, and and like basically somebody else from work does not totally finish the communication line on shit. It'll straight up just be like, "Hey, where are ya? What's going on?" It's like, I called. Did no one relay that? Because, I mean, I swear to God, dude. It's not the first time it's happened either. But it's definitely a little annoying. Crystal and Kyle take on the Libertarian presidential candidate. I guess that's something to be curious on. Also, I don't really need to check that out. I've seen Vosh's little conversation, debate / talk, interview thing with him. The Libertarian candidate guy is literally just a wacko, dude. It's, like, utterly insane. Good dog. Whatever time this is happening. Well, of course, a bunch of Supreme Court shit. Strikes down by student loan debt relief. Of course it happened. Definitely not surprised about that at all. Oh my lord. And they also decided to rule for the Christian web designer too. Where apparently their faith don't discriminate. At least that's what this dumbass stupid sign says on his thumbnail. Which, by the way, it literally does. So, fuck off. I'm pretty much just at the point where it's just like, I mean, yeah, I tend to be a little, like, religiously discriminatory to a minor extent, just because, at least very, like, benignly, because of shit like this. What? Our faith don't discriminate. We're not, like, bigoted. By the way, fuck those queers. It's like, nah, fuck you. It's like, I have every right to discriminate against you for shit like that. At that point, it ain't even discrimination. It's just calling your shit out for what you are. A bigoted fuck. Want to commit some war crimes? I like how you just pop in out of nowhere, just like, hey, want to commit war crimes? I mean, what a great way to start off the day. It's just like, a bunch of Supreme Court ruling shit. Oh, by the way, let's do some war crimes. Oh, and then there's the fucking PragerU gauntlets. Oh, God. And I'm just now starting to not, like, feel like shit anymore, too. And now it's just fucking galore of just gauntlet insanity. Huh, Jesus Christ. Unless I got work today, so I don't have to necessarily succumb myself to the entire thing. That's always good. Oh, fuck. It's almost like 8 hours, though. Oh, no. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing in one go. Well, I literally can't because I will be at work, so I'm lucky. But yeah, I don't think I would be able to either. I'm probably, like, I know I'm gonna be tuning in for at least, like, a good 2 to 3 hours of it. and then whatever like I happen to catch when I get off work. That's basically is what I'm gonna like. Okay, so from 5. Oh, they're gonna that gauntlet is gonna happen until fucking midnight Pacific time. TJ and Scotty are literally gonna be at it until 3 in the morning watching PragerU, dude. Oh my fucking god. Extended version of No Way Home. Good movie so far, but a bit long at 2.5 hours. I mean, for a good longer length film, that's a pretty decent amount of time, I think. You don't really want a movie going beyond that. Like, I mean, for a good longer form film, I mean, that's pretty decent time. I usually like a movie that's about, like, 2 hours long, honestly. Because, like, an hour and a half feels short, and, like, 2.5 hours feels like more of a longer length film, but anything beyond that just feels like a goddamn journey. I mean, obviously there could be films that can go on for that long that are really good, but not many of them. I absolutely refuse a film like Dance with Wolves, which comes at 4.5. Oh, see, like, I mean, that's an exception for me because I've seen Dance with Wolves. That movie's so fucking good. I mean, you gotta at least make an exception for that one. I mean, at least. Like, that was a good movie, dude. I haven't seen it in a while, but that one's good. Good movie, not distant. Well, I'm just saying, hey, I mean, it's like I said, it's a really good. I mean, that's like a movie that's actually legit, like, worth watching the entire full movie of. It's long, but it's worth watching it. My grandmother loved that movie so much. Yeah, I mean, my mom loved watching it a lot. And when she was declining, it was like watching a new movie every time. Well, I mean, at least there's something good with that. But, yeah, I mean, what I really like about it is just because it's, like, it actually, like, for an older, like, kind of American frontier film, it actually, like, it really is, like, something that kind of puts, like, America in a more critical light, if you think about it. Because, like, you have this, like, you know, soldier literally out on the frontier by himself, and if I remember, I think it was because he was supposed to watch the Indigenous peoples and, like, observe them and shit. I just saw it so many times, I'd rather not watch it again. Okay, that's fair enough. Like, I thought you just simply haven't seen it, but you've watched it so many times, yeah, I mean, not much of a point watching it again. I mean, fair enough with that. But yeah, I mean, you got, like, this dude who's just, like, out in the prairies and stuff, and essentially, like, kind of goes in with, like, this kind of assumption about, like, the, you know, the West and the Wild West, and then, like, you know, with everything. And then, you know, realizing that, like, you know, that, like, a lot of what he was raised up in and grew up to be, you know, and actually, in a lot of ways, being more negative and destructive. Yeah, get in touch with the spiritual side, essentially. Like, I think even at the end of the movie, turns on the army of folk and helps the natives. Yeah, because at one point, I think one of the colonels looks at us like, you're no better than those Indian savages or some shit. Like, I think at one point, like, one of the colonels sort of looks at us like, you look no different than one of those savages. Or some shit like that. You know, so, like, I mean, yeah, he basically kind of, like, I mean, not turned, but basically kind of, like, actualized himself in a way, and because of that, the industrialist, like, modern world turned him away. And basically treat him no different than a primitive, basically. Even though he wasn't, obviously. And obviously neither were the natives. In fact, there was a lot of really cool scenes between the dude and a lot of different native tribes peoples and shit, because of, like, the different, like, trades and back and forths they would have. It was, like, it really kind of, you know, at least overall painted a more positive light for Native Americans, you know, for a film at that time. Anything you want to watch for Paramount Plus? I mean, not that I could think of. That's Star Trek mostly. I mean, like, sure, but I mean, it's not something that's like my immediate forte at the moment. figured out ever since Mom asked me to sub for a year. Well, I'm sure I'll probably hit you up about that at some point, maybe. Like, unironically, there probably might be somewhere it's like, hey, about that Paramount, I want to check out Star Trek Picard or something. If it should be combined with Discovery and Travel Channel. Yeah, I kind of saw that about, like, with their whole, like, Morphus, like, their whole little, like, Metamorphosis thing and shit. I love the Ghost and Alien shit, because it's always the same. Of course, I mean, of course it's always going to be the same at this point. I mean, it's just basically like, ooh, is this random little thing that we saw on the camera a potential alien or a ghost, and he pretty much never is. The best we get is blurry, shaky cam footage. Yeah, which basically ends up culminating to really nothing. Like, or usually can easily be rolled out as, like, something else that's just, like, poorly captured. Because I guess when it comes to, like, aliens or UFOs or anything, apparently everyone just happens to have a Nokia 2004 flip phone camera instead of a fucking 4K smartphone camera these days. So, I mean, yeah, they're, like, that's also, like, a, you know, remember the Vegas shit? That, like, this happened, like, a month ago, or not even that, this was, like, a few weeks ago. Hey, what are you doing? Where you had, like, these cops show up to these people's house being like, hey, we heard about, like, a UFO crash in here, and apparently people were like, yeah, we saw a bunch of, like, big aliens here, blah, 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 and not once did any of them fucking record anything. It's like they had this whole story, but not one of them collaborated with a picture or fucking videos or anything. Rednecks chasing cryptids. Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me. Having rednecks chase around cryptids. Hey, there you are. Then got ourselves a goddamn skunk day about here in the Everglades. Let's go out there and hunt ourselves a skunk day. Finally, a bunch of dumbasses running around the woods with guns. Here, let's go shoot this skunk day out here. Tell you what. Just got some redneck just chewing up some major chaw or something. My god, dude, I love it. That's legitimately the show. Wow. I think the Bigfoot shows are more scientific amount. Unless they run around the woods. I mean, in a weird way, I actually kind of agree with you. Because, at least, yeah, they set up cameras, they're, like, out there in the woods. I mean, sure, they're probably not really finding anything besides just what's already out there. But for the most part, at least, you know, there's, like, you know, legit some basis of analysis going on. Like with, like, finding Bigfoot or, like, or with, like, Monster Quest or some shit. Like, I mean, there would be, like, pictures they would actually look at and try to do, like, some analysis and even try to debunk them and stuff. And usually, most of the time, they were debunkable. Like, I remember this one picture of, like, supposedly that was supposed to be a Bigfoot, and they were doing analysis of it, and when they did an analysis of the trail cam and actually went to the actual place where the picture was taken and everything, they realized that it was actually a crow that happened to just fly across the little meadowed area, and it had its wings flapping down, but it just happened to look, you know, just, you know, like it had just, like, such a blur and illusion enough to where it looked like it was more like an object, like a Bigfoot maybe, off at a distance on the edge of the tree line instead of a crow in the middle of the field flying by. Like, because honestly, you know, like, you know, it's just like, it's kind of, you know, at least there is legit, like, some sort of an analysis of stuff like that. And every now and then, like, you know, they do legit, you know, kind of have some pictures and stuff where it's like, yeah, it's kind of inconclusive, we're not too sure what this is, but, you know, it's hypothetical, could be these things, but, yeah, it's just inconclusive. Which, you know, shows that, you know, there's definitely some interesting things that could be out in the woods and stuff, but chances are it's probably just more things that, you know, are just shit that, you know, we normally see, but we just haven't gotten a total understanding of yet. Like, you know, maybe just like, you know, just particular pictures or, you know, certain videos of different animals doing things. Talk about the New World Order and nonsense like that. Well, yeah, of course. Oh, there's always going to be a lot of it. Well, honestly, like, I think, you know, when it came to the whole, like, New World Order shit and stuff like that, like, and all this, and all those type of conspiracies, back in the day, like, it wasn't necessarily just a right-wing thing. There was even, like, hippy-dippy, like, lefty types that thought about this shit, too. I mean, frankly, there still are, for sure. I mean, you know, so it's, like, it used to be a lot more, like, apolitical in a sense that it wasn't, you know, specifically like right-wing or left-wing when it came to like those ideas. Obviously, I think it'd still be more predominantly on the right, but I mean, back in the day, it wasn't really seen as strictly like a right-wing conservative thing, you know, as much. Like, cause, you know, there was always like, you know, some, you know, like hippy-dippy dude who was also thinking some similar shit too. So, you know, I mean, so there is that, and also, I mean, like, a lot of it was more vague, too. Like, it wouldn't necessarily just be like, oh, yep, it's like, you know, the New World Order of, like, the Jewish Anunnaki or some shit. It would usually just be like, oh, yeah, it's just like, you know, the aliens, you know, are, like, actually, you know, like, together, you know, with us, and are, you know, all this shit. And are just, you know, taking control of the government. Basically, like, some They Live shit, essentially. Or, like, basically being like, oh, yeah, there's potentially, like, you know, this, you know, like, alien technology that the government is hiding from us. And that's how they make all their crazy advanced tech and shit, and their surveillance, and blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, back in the day, you just never went farther than stuff like that. But now, at this point, it's just, like, full of fucking crazy right-wing extra-conspiratorialism, which I think a lot of that had to do with QAnon. Like, QAnon really culminated, like, a lot of these conspiracy theorists into, like, a legit political narrative, or at least a political agenda. So, I mean, like, honestly, a lot of, you know, this problem really, frankly, always came down to the fucking, QAnon plandemics on Tubi. Oh my fucking god. See what I mean? Like, honestly, QAnon is what co-opted all these conspiracy theories and shit, and basically just made it into a right-wing, crazy, fucking meta-conspiracy, dude. Which is QAnon. They just culminated all this shit into, like, the worst forms of itself. Instead of just some fun stuff that you and I used to have fun with, just kind of, like, being entertained. Or maybe entertain the thought, like, a little bit. Can't do that anymore. Cool Cat? Oh my god, Cool Cat Saves the Kids is on there. Okay, that is actually pretty funny. Man, what the fuck? What the hell? PlayStation users, Xbox is gay. Xbox users, PlayStation is gay. PC users, rainbow colored everything. It's kind of true. There's a lot of like gamer setups that are straight up like full of crazy rainbow colors. Rainbow keyboards. Rainbow PC desktop setup with rainbow colored coolants. Gonna get me some Spoodermap. Spoodermap. No, it's too late. I'm taking that. Spoodermap. That's what it is. Spoodermap now. Damn. 800 plus arrested on the third night of protests in France. Officer facing preliminary charges. Well, at least, you know, in France, they actually somewhat hold their fucking cops accountable. As per the AP, several police precincts, schools, and other government buildings were targeted and set ablaze. The government of French president... okay, that's a really poorly worded sentence. The government deployed 40,000 officers across the country in the hopes to quell some of the violence. Some of it. Not all of it, just some. We know we can't quell all the French violence, so we will at least have some people out there to quell some of it. Not make it as bad. The police officer of Neil's death has been hit with preliminary charge of voluntary homicide. A local prosecutor announced saying the conditions of the legal use of the weapon were not met. Preliminary charge effectively means investigators strongly suspect criminal wrongdoing has occurred, but are continuing to assess before deciding whether to move to trial. Hey! Well, that's at least good, but why not just immediately charge the fucker? Because I'm pretty sure he literally did murder this kid. Man, why are the French based? Like, we can't, like, make fun of the French anymore. I'm just saying that right now. Like, honestly, we just can't make fun of the French. Because, like, I mean, every time, like, their government, like, does, like, the slightest thing wrong, they fucking go off, dude. Like, like, lately, that's basically is just what they've been doing. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's just because there's just, like, somewhat of, like, kind of a lefty, like, disenfranchised, like, surge or something. We can still make fun of them. Nah. Dude, we're fucking America. We're a bunch of pussies and cowards, and we just sit here and take the fucking boot, bro. Like, we can't make fun of the French. When the boot, you know, stomps on them, like, they fucking immediately, like, start throwing Molotovs. They fight Germans, they fold like paper. No, they don't. That's literally just a misnomer, dude. No, they don't. I mean, like, in World War I, they sure shit weren't. I mean, I think a lot of that, the reason why it's a misnomer is because with the, like, with some of the first American infantrymen that showed up to the Western Front in World War I. Because when they showed up to their front lines, they were interwoven with a lot of the French troops, and they were there for a while, and were just fucking like, yo, we're done. Like, you know, we're gonna fall back to our reserve line, you know, because they're making a charge. And obviously, these new, fresh, you know, never been out in the front boys and shit from America are like, we just got here. We're gonna go fucking charge them instead, bitch. You know, like, I mean, it came from that. Literally just because of, like, you know, of one particular event. And with World War II, I mean, it was due to a blitzkrieg and also because the Germans were methed up. They're all on meth. But the French didn't just lay down fighting, didn't just lay down without a fight. I mean, they fought literally the entire way up until liberation and shit. Like the whole French Free Army and the French Resistance. They played a huge pinnacle role in partisan action during World War II. Outside the Polish and like the 11 Norwegian saboteurs and a few others, but like outside of them, like the French were like one of the big dogs on that one. Also Dutch resistance too, like they were pretty adamant as well. Happen to save the French. Darth Stalin destroys it. Dude, it's literally a meme, bro. You're just basing it off a meme. Legit what happened. It's another meme. Oh my god. They're memes. Like, well, yeah, obviously it could just be like, well, meme, bro. Wrecked. Papa Stalin had to slap some ass. And that's only because Hitler decided to invade with Operation Barbarossa. You do realize that he had a pact with him and actually agreed to, like, carve half of Eastern Europe. I mean, they split Poland in half. I mean, like, the only reason Papa Stalin started slapping ass was because Hitler started slapping first. The Russo-German War is inevitable. Oh, I mean, to be fair, I do think it was. Because even Hitler saw the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact as only a means to an end. He saw that as more of a way to delay the eventual Eastern Front, but he should have just waited. So stupid he could have pushed it back. Or just, you know, focus most of his forces on Operation Sea Lion, which was to battle Britain. And he probably could have actually at least gained enough of a foothold in England to where he could focus more on the Eastern Front. Because then he would actually have a stable holding ground in the United Kingdom and can at least, you know, have a more consistent supply route and have the English Channel in total control. So, I mean, like, honestly, I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020, but, like, I mean, realistically, Operation Sea Lion could have been a potential successful operation if, like, he just focused with it more. I mean, because the Battle of Britain didn't just start in 1940, like, that lasted for, like, a few years. When it could have been, like, at least a year, if you think about it. And the thing is, there definitely were, like, more fascist sympathizers in England as well. Like, it wasn't just, like, all, people fighting against them, too. So, I mean, there was, like, I think, a British SS Legion that was formed with different defectors and spies and shit as well. If he didn't, that's not sorry. We went. I mean, I don't know if we know that for sure. I do think, you know, things definitely would have played out differently, but so-called Jewish science sure showed him, Lamau. Well, if funny enough, like, actually, you know, destroying a lot of that Jewish science actually stunted a lot of their scientific progress, which is why they had to kind of develop their own weird Aryan science, which was basically more pseudoscience mysticism than anything else. Like, they just legit didn't have, like, you know, like, they just, you know, basically, like, revoked half of the scientific method, you know, and just tried to put in their own. And, like, and invoke their own idea of it. Which obviously, the irony of it all is that stunted more of their scientific progress. Which, if you think about it, if they didn't do that, like, I mean, they probably, unironically, would have had more advancement in the technologies and sciences if they didn't, you know, just utterly disregard quote-unquote Jewish science. Just because it was Jews that happened to discover the sciences. I mean, that's just how backwards Nazism is. Like, even for all their grandeur about progress and advancement and this, like, you know, superior utopia, it just a very execution of attempting such a thing is literally just, you know, shooting themselves in the knee with a fucking 8-gauge shotgun. Like, you're not just gonna blast the knee off, you're blasting the entire leg down from the knee. Like, everything from the knee down is just not gonna be a leg anymore, it's just gonna be mush. I've read it, can't actually theoretically workable. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot of, like, things about Tesla's tech that is just, one, really fascinating, but is possible. I mean, a lot of people do their own Tesla coils and shit. I mean, you know, a lot of, you know, Tesla's tech is still around. It's just not really advanced as much anymore, because, obviously, not a lot of people have done that. Since Tesla, at least. Which is unfortunate. And a lot of that I blame Edison for, frankly, that fucking shitbag. He basically, like, you know, like, did anything and everything under the sun to basically just fuck over Tesla and pretty much any other competitor of his. Because he was basically the Elon Musk, robber baron shitbag of the time. Ah, fucking fly, you just... Ah, you went right by my fucking ear, you shit. Oh, fuck you, bitch. Oh, got both of my ears. Oh, I fucking dare ya, dude. I fucking dare you to land, asshole. Legit Tesla coil was the defensive structures are possible to see wired up instead of an AI to handle discharging. Sure, that's vastly oversimplified. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's a simplified way of what you're mentioning it, but yeah, I imagine it's possible. Because it basically would act like kind of like a more centralized EMP type of thing, right? At least I would think so. It's possible for a human to handle the amount of discharges. Well, yeah, we would literally die. Like, we would basically might as well just get shot with lightning and die. Like, yeah, there ain't no way we'd be able to handle that. I mean, we can for small, like, little Tesla coils, because people have made, like, little miniature towers and stuff like that. I mean, and, you know, people mess around with those things. I mean, there's a few YouTube channels that have those little things around. I mean, sometimes people make them pretty decently sized, too. I mean, that's kind of a crazy thing. Like, the Tesla coils are still kind of, still being worked around with and still played around with. I like that, though. It's really cool. I'm sure you could probably, like, buy a little one or something. Shockproof suit. Oh, yeah, I'm sure, like, a specialized suit, helps. I mean, because think about it with, like, a car. I mean, the reason why, or like a plane, like the reason why, you don't get like electrocuted if a plane or your car gets hit with lightning is because there's insulation that prevents that electric charge from going everywhere in the vehicle or in the plane, and thus prevents you from getting shocked. And Tesla power armor is theoretically workable, but runs on the same problems as other power armor designs, batteries. And frankly, I think that would honestly be worse, because I feel like it would be way more bulkier. Sleepy little boy over there. I know a guy. Oh, damn, flew off. I know a guy who works in the field. His engineering manager says it's a really big hurdle. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, there isn't really too much we can do to advance battery tech right now. At least for now. Like, I know there's, like, ways to make it more efficient and stuff, but at least for, like, actual, like, breakthroughs in significantly advancing battery tech, there isn't really too much right now that is there outside of when it comes to things like, like quantum and some other shit. Like, I mean, beyond that, at least from what I understand, but, like, beyond that, it's, it's kind of difficult to really, like, break through further from some shit like that. Nuclear batteries? No. Nope. Because what if those little things melt down or some shit? You want little pockets of radiation just chilling? If those things melt down? I'm not... It's just... As hell's back in many areas. I think people have a little bit of an understandable reason to be a little reserved about that shit. For right now. Until we get fusion, instead of, like, start breaking through with that shit, like, then sure. Since the 80s, bro. Well, obviously I'm aware of that, but even then, there's still problems of human fallibility. I mean, because there's Fukushima, obviously that tech was, advanced since the 80s, but the human engineering design of where those generators were when the floods happened and shit, end up causing the whole meltdown and everything in the first place. It wasn't necessarily the fact that the reactors failed initially, it was just where they had the generators, and when those flooded and shut down, then that caused the meltdown. I mean, so it's like, I mean, that's kind of why I'm still reserved about this shit. I mean, it's not necessarily like the tech itself, it's our fallibility when it comes to this shit. Isn't thorium a clean nuclear reactor? I think. I mean, to be fair, I'm not 100% too sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, I mean, yeah, because like you said, yeah, fusion is definitely preferable because it's also a lot safer, and when it shuts down, it just stops. That's it. I mean, you know, like, I mean, when it comes to, like, you know, fusion, it's like, it's pretty much nigh impossible for it to have a meltdown, because when you're fusing atoms together, so it's just like, you know, when it shuts down and everything's off, they're just not fusing. They're just there, dormant, just chilling. So, I mean, the likelihood of a meltdown is really, really slim. I think it's still possible, but it's just drastically, significantly less likely in comparison to fusion right now. Not enough political will, though. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately. Because the thing is, that's why I say I'm a little reserved about it, but that's why, you know, I'm okay with the idea of, like, you know, thorium or fusion. Because I do think those are a lot safer and better. Especially fusion. I don't know too much about thorium, but if I remember, I'm pretty sure that is, like, a way to have a clean nuclear reactor. Like, you know, when it comes to, like, non-radioactivity, or at least very minimal. Or at least, like, non-harmful radioactivity. Because I know there are some, like, radiation particle stuff that aren't actually, like, deadly or lethal to people, you know, and can handle some of it and be totally fine, because technically we're being bombarded with radiation right now, you know, so, like, there is a certain level of radiation that, you know, humans are able to handle and deal with, and if anything, are well acclimated to. It's just certain, it's, you know, UV radiation, gamma radiation, there's a lot of other radiation we're not, but, you know, there's different types of radiation particles. And some we're okay with, some we're not. Would you be okay if nuclear batteries were clean? Well, yeah, I mean, if we're able to make it more efficient with fusion, or, you know, with, like, you know, clean nuclear reactor tech and shit, then yeah. It's just concurrently. You know, like, I think, you know, it just needs more investment and more advancement into, like, the newer technologies that haven't been developed with it yet. Because we've been with fusion for too long. Like, we definitely could be making more advancements into different types of nuclear tech. Because obviously there's more than one type of nuclear tech, but we just predominantly focus with one element of it. Well, I guess technically too, if you consider, like, militarization or weaponization of nuclear tech. Then I guess technically too. But for energy-wise, just one. In fall lore, they were 3 months away from debuting nuclear mass-produced batteries that would have solved the energy crisis, which would have lessened the tensions and helped solve a lot of the problems when it came to political issues, especially between China and the U.S. at that time. It probably wouldn't have necessarily stopped any wars or anything, but it probably would have, you know, brought, you know, apocalypse, you know, far, farther away. The fusion cores you find in Forward, early prototype of that. Yeah. I remember some elements of the Fallout lore kind of referring to some shit about that. Because as much as Fallout 4 kind of got a bad rap, I kind of enjoyed it. You know, I kind of liked exploring the world, you know, when I wasn't really playing the missions and just kind of doing settlement building and just kind of exploring the world. And, I mean, there is definitely some actual, like, lore stuff you can find if you actually kind of looked around. And so I do remember, at least in a few places, you know, kind of reading up about that shit, and being like, huh, so, like, and I think in 4 it did partly address that, where it's like, wait, this shit could have been solved. And now it's just like, whoa, like, we could have, like, it's like, Fallout probably never would have happened if, like, there was just more of a rush to advance this shit and just, like, be more diplomatic, you know, when it came to the superpowers at the time. Was way too xenophobic to share this. Well, yeah, obviously, and then China would have been far more adamant about trying to take, yeah, you know, fair enough. Yeah, it would have happened anyway, I guess, fair enough. But I felt like at that point, it would have had a different outcome. Now I'm thinking about it, I wonder if, like, so I wonder if somebody were to do, like, a alternative universe for Fallout. Like every, it's basically Fallout, but but the difference in timeline is that, the war didn't happen on the exact date it happened. Or I guess it does, but the whole, like, prototype thing, actually is produced, like, earlier than expected and shit. I guess it depends on if we could take the Silas before the order was given. Yeah, they might be able to push Shine back. Well, yeah, I guess so. Some areas like Vegas have missile defenses too. Yeah, because Mr. House, he was basically like the big baron of Vegas, before the war. So he purposely put some missile defenses around New Vegas. And even then, I think he said that even a few of them suffered the cracks, but it made the area a lot less dangerous and a lot more hospitable in comparison to other areas. And actually, because of it actually fared out way better. Which makes sense, because honestly, New Vegas kind of felt more like a Wild West game, but, just with Fallout. So, which I loved it, though. I mean, obviously, it worked really fucking well. I think a lot of it was because, it still was very much like Fallout. Still, everything about it was there. But it was just a totally different, like, thing going on. What? Why do you keep barking, bro? I mean, if you want food or something, you're gonna have to, like, wait until I go on my break or something. I don't have kibble for you, bro. Oh, you gotta fly. Good boy. Heard rumors of a New Vegas, too. Is it going to be by the same dudes who made the first New Vegas? Obsidian? Okay, so it's Obsidian specific. Okay, that gives me a little better feeling. If it was just Bethesda, I would have been like, oh no, uh-oh. But at least makes me feel a little better. Come up here. Discord room, I heard in Vosh's Discord. Well, unless something's confirmed, I won't totally, be too excited about it yet. But if it's Obsidian specifically, in the works on doing something like that, then that makes me feel a little better. If it's true. Because if there is going to be a second New Vegas, I definitely would want them, to do it versus fucking Bethesda. Because it was Obsidian and ZeniMax, I think, right? So, yeah, as long, just let them do it. Because obviously they made it work out really well. Would they make it a prequel or a sequel? Because if it's a prequel, that'd actually be kind of cool to see, like, the first battle, Hoover Dam, and all some of the different things that lead up to the events of the first New Vegas. That'd actually be pretty cool. Maybe you get to see what Joshua Graham looked like before being the Burn Man. That'd be honestly kind of dope, too. So I feel like, it will take away some of the mysticism from him, though. But, you know what? I mean, I don't know, I like it. I don't know, I'd be open-minded to see where they go with that. Comment. I saw it. I was literally just recommended it on my notifications. I know it. But you gotta go work here pretty soon, though. Unfortunately. The corporate companies. If I will try now real quick. It can't be that long. Yeah, it really ain't that long. We'll do this as a quick little react.
Lee? Yes, he's one of these right-wing populists that you hear about. And
he is going to tell us all about some things. Let's take a listen and hear what he's got for us, shall we?
We see these corporations pushing relentlessly this Marxist agenda, pushing relentlessly this...
Wait.
I love... I mean, it's like... The idea of being corporate and, like, being fucking, Marxist is just such a fucking oxymoron. It's just insane. Like, what the fuck?
They're pushing a Marxist agenda.
I wish corporations were that woke. Well, if corporations were Marxist, they wouldn't be corporations at that point.
The most capitalistic people in our society that benefit the most from capitalism are trying to push an agenda that destroys capitalism and strives for a post-capitalist society. You literally sound like the dumbest son of a bitch on the face of the earth.
Dumbest son of a bitch,
and
dude.
I don't know what this weird delivery is. I don't know if that sounds good in your mind, but to me it sounds fake. It sounds like a forgery of how a human being talks. But I guess maybe it plays to your crowd.
Religion of woke. And you know, some Republicans I've heard
Religion of woke, dude.
recently. Some Republicans have said, oh, but I don't like culture wars.
I've never heard a Republican say that.
Me neither.
Maybe you've heard some Republicans somewhere say that? I've never heard it.
I mean, I'm sure they exist. I mean, I know there's at least, you know, like... Well, you know, actually I have a little bit. Because when my family was over, like, I know one of my aunts, not the QAnon one, but the more moderate one, she was like, man, this, you know, like... You know, a lot of this, like, social issue stuff, it just seems, you know, a little blown out of proportion. Like, you know, who cares how people are and stuff, as long as they're not, like, you know, trying to be sinful or whatever, or, you know, trying to, you know, like, rub it in or something. Who cares? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, so, I mean, she still doesn't like, you know, drag queens or whatever the fuck and all that shit, but she's just like, well, they're not bothering anyone or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, because she's also, I think, like, a counselor, too, if I remember, or some shit, so she, like... Sometimes, you know, has, like, people that, you know, like, might be gay and shit like that, too, or whatever the fuck that, you know, she, takes sessions from, stuff. So she does kind of have a more of an understanding about this shit, so at least comes with a slightly better, you know, better understanding about it in comparison to others, at least as a Republican, but, I mean, it's not really saying too much, because, again, she still has her opinions about it, but at least in a way understands that it is blown out of proportion to an extent.
Whoever met has loved culture wars. Culture wars are like the favorite thing of any Republican, especially Republican politicians. That's how they get votes. They can't get votes on their economic agenda. That alone would send voters running for the hills.
Is it no wokeist? Well, I don't know,
Only
maybe I am.
their regressive social agenda that gets anybody to support them in the first place, other than the rich.
I don't want to have to engage in a culture war. And they also say, oh, but don't criticize corporate America.
Who says that again? The Republicans say that? I think that's probably true. The Republicans probably do say, don't criticize.
Yeah, they usually do say that for most of the time, unless it's like Silicon Valley or Hollywood or something like that. But beyond that, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, what? Don't criticize, you know, people that actually, you know, have merit working on, you know, working their way up to the top. Well, you know, because you can.
I mean, obviously there is a new kind of Republican that is willing to criticize corporate America, but not for any good reason. Just because of, like, you know, rainbow capitalism. That's what they don't like. They don't like how corporate America seems to be turning their backs on conservative values because that's no longer the largest demographic of Americans.
We mustn't do that. I just say to those people, listen. We made...
Someone drop an anvil on this man? Don't waste anvils.
Yeah, that's a waste of an anvil.
It'd be a waste of an anvil. You wouldn't want to get this dude's weird, wormy little brains all over your good anvil.
We not have started this culture war, but we're going to win it.
Woo! We didn't start this culture war. Well, we did actually, but we're
gonna win it.
Woo!
No, we didn't start the culture war. We didn't start the fire. Pouring gasoline on the fire, making it worse as they started it. Like 2 minutes ago. It's just like, we're just gonna end it by making it big.
Probably not. I mean, you might have some victories along the way, but I don't know. If the
A few victories in the war doesn't necessarily mean you win it.
trajectory of history is to be, I don't know, be appraised, it seems like the overall trend is that you lose. Conservatism tends to lose. Out of necessity, really, because the first conservative was the first caveman that's like, no use fire, fire bad, eat raw meat like tradition. That was the first conservative. And if we listen to them,
We would still be banging the rocks
still
and
be wiping
eating.
our ass with rocks.
Yeah.
We are going to win it.
We are going to win
And
it.
as for corporate America and criticizing them, let's get one thing straight.
Sure.
Corporations.
Let's get one thing straight. I'm not. Why do so many prominent Republican politicians give me deep, deep closet vibes? I know I'm not the only
Because a lot of them are closeted, frankly.
one, too. I see a bunch of people in the chat just being like, this dude has a Grindr account for sure.
Dude, this guy definitely
not
is
people.
grinding up on some dicks.
And there is no reason why corporate America should control this country.
I wonder which side of the political aisle set the stage for that.
Yeah.
mean-
Who allowed Citizens United and who allowed corporations to be treated like people? Definitely not Republicans. Like, cause, like, I agree with you on that, Josh, but why are you on the side, that continuously allows them to be treated like people
Really
and making their money
put
speech?
in the justices that voted for Citizens United. Which, by the way, I think it's pretty telling that you're talking about, the concept of corporate personhood here, but you're not mentioning Citizens United at all. Now, this is just a clip, so maybe you mention it at some other point.
He doesn't. I guarantee you not.
But I also think it's kind of ridiculous when, the American right, I mean, for most of my life, up until very, very recently, have been the champions of laissez-faire capitalism, and only now they're turning against any form of capitalism, and the only form of capitalism they don't like is rainbow capitalism because they feel like it sets them back in the culture war. They feel like it makes their base upset, which is not something they want to avoid. They actually love their base being upset because that's how they drum up votes.
Yep.
I've got news for these corporations, these woke corporations. We are not going to surrender this nation to the cultural Marxists in the C-suite.
Okay, good for you, buddy.
Oh my god.
No one wants you to.
Man, it's this fucking absurd dork, bro. This is just like what so many of these Republicans are just like constantly yammering about. It's just like endless, just like woke Marxist corporations, about like just shit that don't even make sense. And then it just gets parodied down by the same lemmings and shit that are just like, yeah. It's like, in a way, it just gets kind of exhausting in a sense to just have to continuously be like, you're insane. And just like, come on, like, no, it's not. Dios mío. Shit definitely be fucking ridiculous. For sure. Because at least, like, to me, like, it's just like, how the fuck does anyone really, like, take that shit so fucking seriously when they're that delusional? But then I remember, oh yeah, who voted for them? Hey, bro. Dude, Jesus. Alright, I'll make sure to get some kibble when I come back from work. Fucking hell. Said to be weed. Well, you have to come here to get it. But anyway, I'll be off to work and all that fun shit and dealing with this stupid little mutt. But anyway, peace out, and of course, be back.